Great. So I think we'll get started with the panel. I think the easiest way to get started is just like each panelist can give a quick introduction of themselves and also say one use case of AI and crypto which they're particularly excited about.
Can you say that one more time?
Introduce yourself and one use case for AI and crypto which you're particularly excited about.
Got it. Should I start? Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Mike Anderson from Think Agents. We are building the ERC20 of agents, and what we mean by that is how do you standardize an agent so that it has an addressable name, the wallet, and a way to be able to network and communicate with each other. We started the Independent AI Institute about a year ago. We've got 50 projects that are part of it. Some names like Render, Aether, Morpheus, like a bunch of the best players have kind of come together to say, how do we standardize demand? We work very closely with Futureverse to get everything interoperable between all of the metaverses and in-game, and so we're building that standard and would love to work with everybody.
Awesome, and then the question was, what excites you about AI?
One use case.
Yeah, and I'm excited about how crypto tokenizing these agents actually allows these agents to go into any environment.
Awesome. My name is James Young. I lead a project called Collabland, but also working on a new project, kind of a side consortium project called Mother AI. It's a system, so Collabland we do token gating, and with Mother it's a multi-agent coordination ecosystem. And what I'm most excited about is being able to just lower the barrier for retail, for people to come in because they don't know how to bridge, swap, and I think AI agents, because in the Collabland kind of perspective, we do token gating in Discord and Telegram, and it's a great interface for groups to chat, but also it's also a great interface for agents. So we see this kind of future where you can be in Telegram, Discord, and be able to do things without having all of the knowledge that you need to swap, bridge, and all of that.
Hey, I'm David, founding member of OLAS. We have, I think, two offerings. One for consumers. It's an app called Pearl where you can actually own your agent. And that also underpins our sort of general belief we should be able to own our agents the same way we own our keys. The other thing we just announced today is we have within OLAS already 2.4 million transactions between agents. And we kind of generalized this now into a marketplace for agents, which we see growing a lot because agent-to-agent transaction is a thing. So when we come to use cases, for us it always starts with owning your agent, and I think agents in general are a great way to abstract complexity, and obviously in crypto we have a ton of it, so that's a great starting point. But I also like these very open-ended use cases like social agents where they can evolve their personas and actually what they do and maybe create a personality of their own.
I'm Jay Zolowitz. I'm at Near AI. Near AI is a whole bunch of things. Our goal at the moment is to make it as easy as possible for developers to build agents that have a whole bunch of resources that they can use. Like yesterday, I think we launched a cloud operator that you can just use with one line of code in your agent. We give away free AI inference for everyone, and we will do that forever. So if you're building an agent and want to host it somewhere, host it on us or host it on anyone else here. We love everyone here. But what I am really excited about as a use case, we have 350 to 500 million people in crypto right now. There are 5.5 billion people on the planet, and they need real-world use cases. And crypto can actually solve that problem in a better way that rewards people in open source and provides a whole bunch of utility. So I'm really excited about real-world use cases.
Yep, thanks for that. Just to quickly introduce myself, I'm Thevansh, and I work at the Ethereum Foundation leading their AI and public goods track. Kind of like a use case that we are particularly excited about in the EF is having AI answer questions which are verifiable. So like one of the use cases we are doing is something called deep funding, where we have 5,000 open source repos that make up the Ethereum universe, and we ask AI to give weights between these 5,000, and we use jury data to see which AI is the best. So I think in general, we are very excited about the concept of a leaderboard of AIs, that we have many agents giving an answer. We have humans giving a few of the answers. AI can give 1,000,000 answers. Humans give 500 answers. But we use those 500 answers to select the winning AI, which gives the answer for all million. So we are applying this model for like deciding funding between repos, doing Sybil analysis, looking at like predicting misinformation of posts on community notes and on Twitter. So those are some of the use cases that we are kind of particularly excited about at the EF. So I'll move next to kind of the fundraising part. We are obviously in a bit of a downturn in the AI market. So how have each of you tackled the fundraising question for your projects when it comes to AI and crypto?
I mean, we raised money over a year ago, or about a year ago at this point in time, and it went really well.
Yeah, that's good timing. Yeah.
Yeah, for Collabland, we raised in 2021, and just to be honest, it's been tough because Collabland is a SaaS-based product, and so we've been through the ups and downs for all the founders out there, been in the trenches. We are now profitable, so thank you. It's not been easy. We've been doing this for 5 years, yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. Now, what do we do? I think for us, now that we don't need to rely on investment and funding, do we take it to the next level and try and go out there now for funding? Or do we now figure out how does a SaaS-based business become decentralized? There are not many examples of that, but I think that's more of a kind of a interesting, harder problem, and as like a founder, I like hard problems. So on the Clubline side, that's what we're doing. With Mother, I think what we're trying to do is try to do something that is fair, right? I think with the whole meme coins and all of that, I think that there are better ways of community raising, and so we're actively exploring that.
I'll just quickly respond once before moving on to David, which is that the virtuals team is interestingly enough, they're trying to tackle two issues. One is how do we disrupt the SaaS industry with all of our AI models? That's one of the things that they've set their eyes on. And the second is how do we get high quality model builders to come and launch agents on the virtuals platform? So interestingly, I see some alignment with you actually, with Mother launching agents and with Collabland wanting to disrupt the SaaS industry. Yeah. David?
Probably not too much to say here, but we recently had a fundraising round. I think if you build something valuable and you work hard enough, eventually you get your funding. I mean, crypto is probably one of the easier places to raise funds. Maybe the more spicy take would be that it's sometimes too easy and a lot of low quality as a result comes about as well. So I think as an industry, if you look at it at a macro perspective, I think we attract a lot of capital. And if you compare that to pure AI, the output isn't that great. So I think we really need to level up.
Well, so this is a bit of a complicated question for us because our CEO had the foresight to help invent the industry, which really kind of helps you get VC meetings. And also had the foresight to create a L1 a couple of years ago that has a large foundation that can partially fund it. But Near AI is actually an equity company, not a token. We've been raising from traditional VCs, and actually to counter some of what was just said, we're actually not having as much of a problem with the VCs really kind of agreeing with us in that mindset. It's really the number one thing that they want at valuations that would make it worth it to not raise a token round is really actual revenue, actual traction, and if you're really pulling that, like if you're profitable or if you're growing ridiculously quickly, VCs just seem to love that. I don't know why.
Yep, I think that's great to kind of get such a balanced take from so many different projects that are working here. I think we'll move on next to the fact that AI models are inherently non-deterministic. And that kind of causes issues when you're trying to do some of the use cases that you guys have mentioned of like abstracting away crypto's complexity. So how do you kind of have reliability with non-determinism in AI?
You want me to start over this time? I really like telling the people who are building on our platform to leverage lane chain tools as much as possible and factor as much as you can into a deterministic thing with a trigger of the inference. So like have it go to an actual logical thing.
Yeah, I guess what you're saying is like mix rules based with like generative AI, and that's also the way I see it. I mean, you wouldn't want to give a wallet purely to like a generative model with like a loop, let's say. You probably want to apply some whitelists, some transaction guards, whatnot. That's certainly how we architect the OLAS agents. And maybe in the future that will get better as the model architectures get slightly different. But right now, that's the way to go.
So I would take a step back and take a look at just how the interaction of a transaction happens. Right now, everyone is like used to EOAs. So you have to like first send, let's say, an agent funds and give it some assets for its wallet. I think now with like 4337, 7702, I think now you have new interaction models. So you can have, instead of push base, where like you can't give someone temporarily your private key. It's not something you can't unknow, right? So instead of having a push-based interaction model, you have it pull-based. So you can give not the asset to the agent, but you can give it a delegation. And then there's a whole design space I'm super excited about, because now you can have pull-based transactions. So it can pull from funds from your smart account, and with that, you can actually have like these afterhooks or caveats. So if you're saying to an agent, it's a swap agent, and you're saying, I want to swap from base to like Arbitrum, for example, you can say, okay, swap this amount, and then the caveat would be no more than like X amount of percentage slippage, right? Because it's not only about the agent not hallucinating, but the market conditions outside the agent's control needs to be also kind of enforceable. So I think this like pull-based model with smart accounts at the kind of core is a new primitive interaction, transaction primitive, I think is very much underexplored that I think could agents can benefit from as well.
The way that I look at it is agents are actually the new distribution channel and user interface at the same time. And so when you're talking about using LangChain or Llama Index or even Eliza, right? Like we're seeing all these agent servers pop up. We think you should use whichever one you want. We think the important part is to standardize the naming and the ability to network and to negotiate. And so if we do that, we can actually be in a spot where these agent servers are the distribution channel for all these composable Web3 tools. And so pulling these together, like if we actually just if we assume that we don't need to have an agent that's perfect today, what we actually need is an agent that can work with all of our ecosystem. Now we're in a spot where we can standardize demand. Once demand's standardized, these agents can scale very quickly.
So we were just side noting on this one. So at least I won't speak for you, kind of disagree with that.
Cool.
In my opinion, pretty much everything should go through the same interface in between agents. And the agents itself should be doing that forking instead of trying to go to like /payment or /info or anything like that. It should all happen in natural communication. To me.
So you're saying all natural language based, no JSON standardization, no.
I mean, as things continue to get better, I mean, sure, you should have a metadata.json for your agent, so you know how to like register in a registry.
Exactly.
But like, you shouldn't have like endpoints for any individual thing. It should, as much as possible, as things get better, it will all become natural language tossing between everything.
For sure.
Totally agree.
I know the.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the like multi-agent systems, agents have been around for a long time, and often in crypto we sort of ignore history. And like there was all these agent communication protocols that never really took off because it's a pain in the ass to integrate them. I don't say like standardization isn't useful, but I don't think we need like everything super standardized like in an in an ERC context, where let's say you have like a token standard and an NFT standard and this thing, because that's actually crucial for a blockchain. But for agents, the whole benefit is that they can interpret things on the go. So I think we'll see this mix of things.
And right now, the problem to be solved, right, is like it's almost like a Mandelbrot set of agents when you really think about it, right? And so if these agents need to be able to use services that 10 different groups that are here are using, by standardizing it, we're standardizing the actual usage of tools and the actual way that they can communicate and pay one another.
I absolutely agree on some of that part. I think where the real standardization is going to need to happen is inside of the agent registries itself. And there will likely be, if any of you have used Artifactory or something professionally, there's a local corporate version of all your agents, and then there's a forward cloud thing, or like open source hosted whatever thingy.
Sure.
When you think about it that way, you're like, okay, all these things are going to have different discovery systems inside of them. They're all going to have to know how to fork, probably as a natural language prompt, into those discovery systems, and then decide to just run the sub agent instead of having to like strictly define a swarm. These systems will naturally progress over time and have fallbacks, like an operator or like some other. Yeah. So that's kind of where I see that going.
So APIs go away.
Actually, we just launched it this week too. You give API endpoint, and we create full agents in seconds. Not API endpoints, API documentation. APIs are going away for the most part. They will still exist because you need a thing to communicate with it, but it's not how we're going to do it.
But APIs are for humans.
I think it's like
using
Python
APIs,
versus strictly typed languages, right? It's like natural language allows us to be fuzzier. And we now gotten that. I don't think we'll go back to strictly typed agent, everything like one standard, one registry. As long as you know that some registry exists, the agent can find it, read it, interpret it, go along.
And the way we solve that is by having orchestrator agents that actually you can say, like, this orchestrator agent is the one that's going to pull together the set that's going to be used for this task. And we don't assume that we're going to be that orchestrator, so we design the pattern as opposed to providing the service.
Yep, I think it's great to have a panel where everyone is disagreeing. So that was like this was a good panel. Thanks for starting that, Jay. Appreciate that. I think we are at time, so maybe just final thoughts for everyone if anyone wants to talk something. Yeah.
I'll go last. You go.
Every single app is going to be turned into a series of agents, and I believe that Web3 can actually form the capital, bring in the communities, and actually create competitive agents in a place where they're used to Web2 ways of doing apps.
Yeah, I think this year you're going to see a bunch of different agents, like millions of agents, but a lot of them are going to be useless. So.
Yeah, I love this idea of the web of agents, and I subscribe to it. And I think it's also very important for us in crypto to enable real ownership of agents, like sovereignty over your agent, and kind of being able to control it, have it be personal to you. I think that's something we can really add to the broader AI agent space.
So I'm going to kind of cheat here because I have a final thought, and I really want to say it. However, it's getting announced during Ilya's talk at 3:55 on the Regenerator stage at the tail end of it. Some of the people on the stage are participating in that. It's going to be a thing. So if you're not booked at 3:55 to 4:25, give or take, I would hit up that talk, especially for the end. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
You can give us a hint at least.
Crypto. Okay, I'll say what I want to say, which is crypto is a balkanized, factionized kind of a thing. We get on crypto Twitter, we fight against each other, we say your coin is what this place smells like. And we shouldn't do that, especially within the AI space. We should realize that our biggest competitors are going to be, Apple, Anthropic, OpenAI. And when you realize that, and you realize you're competing against trillions of dollars, what we're fighting on out over here isn't much at all. We should consider working together, being open, doing the same thing as a lot of us got into crypto for in the first place, which is not token go up. It's changing the way the world works and making it a better place. So maybe that's kind of the announcement.
Yep, that's great. Yeah. Thanks a lot for this
Thank you.
panel. Yep.